Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of Possessor. Alright, cast and crew information down below, and let's start off with the IMDb plot. Possessor follows an agent who works for a secretive organization that uses brain-implant technology to inhabit other people's bodies, ultimately driving them to commit assassinations for high-paying clients. Alright. I guess we should start off with the obvious here. Um, this one is a lot talked about for a couple of reasons. One is Brandon Cronenberg is the director and writer of this, and we know all that who he is and what that's all about. Um, so that obviously gets some attraction to the movie as is, and to begin with. But then after this movie was released, and then I guess later has its DVD release. I think kind of forgot how it got released and so forth. I think it's out completely now for everybody to see. But I remember watching it when it um, first became available, and I was debating. I wanted to review this one earlier, but it kind of slipped through the cracks, and I actually did another video, but then it just the video was no good, so um, wasn't able to get another chance to do it until now. And in between, I noticed a lot of people liked the film. A lot of people were talking about it, and so yeah, besides the fact that Brandon did it, I guess it got a lot of buzz within itself, and unfortunately, I just didn't see it that way. And reading that, there's a lot of sci-fi and a lot of thriller behind that. First and foremost, but there is horror in the movie, and I'll get to that. Um, but I don't know. I guess recently, I don't know if it's just me, my mood, or maybe I've seen so much horror movies, slashers and stuff that don't involve much sci-fi to it, just straight horror in one way or the other, or through different genres, but not as much sci-fi. I don't know. Lately, sci-fi hasn't just done it for me, or movies with sci-fi in it. There's another one I watched the other day, which seemed like it was okay, but I just couldn't get myself into the movie. And so again, here's another one, and as I read, it's a lot about this brain technology, and this woman who is part of it. And I guess she's one of the better assassins, and she goes strapped down to this table and this thing over her head, and basically zapped off into somebody else's body. Um, and then when she's in that body, she basically in their head, and basically taking them over, and then using them because they have the means to assassinate a certain person. Um, so that's kind of the gist of the story here. Um, the opening scene is great. A little confusing as you're like, who are these people? What does this have to do with the film? I mean, not that you know much about it, depending if you watch the trailer or not, or read the synopsis. But you're quite, you kind of think you're like in an action movie to at least start. Um, then it ends a little brutally and crazy, and then you finally stumble into this woman and her role and what is going on, and you get a little introduction into what is happening here. Until later, she ends up in this guy's body, and trying to see what I want to spoil here, what I don't want to spoil. It's a new movie, but it's been out a little bit. Try not to spoil too much here, but I guess the point is that she ends up in this guy's body, um, with the point of having to assassinate another person. She's tasked, obviously, with trying to take over this body, and apparently, she's been pretty good in the past, but for A, B, or C reasons, she's having a little difficulty with this guy. Twists and turns and this and that. You basically get the guy kind of battling back and trying to in a weird way, save himself, even though not sure he knows exactly what is going on. So obviously there's this back and forth between her trying to take over his brain and his body while he's apparently fighting it. All in the process while trying to scope out and assassinate somebody else. So you have a lot kind of going on there. I don't want to say too much more. I don't want to spoil kind of what happens. But again, I guess I find myself on the outs on this one. Not that it's a bad movie. It is certainly not a bad movie. It's really well done. The acting is good. The storyline is there. I don't know. I see all these good reviews for it, and I just don't see it in the same light. I wouldn't be surprised to see this movie on some people's top movies for the year, or movies for the year. I know some people mentioned that when they first did their reviews for it. So I wouldn't be surprised. I've seen one or two of those lists already from certain people. I don't remember if this was on there or not. But if it did land on some people's, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just not going to throw it up there because other people are throwing it up there, and I'm not just going to throw it up there because it has a certain director or so forth. It won't be on my top 10. And again, it's not a bad movie. I say watch this movie. There's going to be a lot of things to like about it. If you like that sci-fi element, if this brain technology thing interests you, you're going to like that. There's a tad of, like I said, kind of like an action film in it. It does mention this is a thriller as well, and I guess you can throw that in there. So if you want a thriller or classify it as thriller or action movie, there's that in it. Obviously, assassinations, so you kind of, or at least I associate that with more of an action movie. So you can maybe think of it in that element. But there is, like I said, there is horror in this movie. When it comes time for kills to happen, they are pretty brutal. There's some brutal scenes, lots of blood, and just craziness. And that part is enjoyable. You know that I enjoy that. If you've seen any of my reviews and so forth, you know when it comes time to blood and guts and stuff like that, and anytime something's brutal, I appreciate that, and I can go with that. So that was certainly one part of this movie I did enjoy. One of the things I guess I battled with not only sci-fi is when things get a little strange, and I guess the movie was a little strange to me. It is probably a movie that I should watch again. Maybe I should have watched before doing this review, but I wanted to get this review. Like I said, I did it once before, but I had to do it over. So I just kind of wanted to get this review out of the way, so at least I'd be on the record for this one in a certain way. Maybe I'll watch it again at some point and change my mind. It's not one of those movies where I go, oh gosh, do I have to watch that again? No, I'd watch this again. Maybe, when the schedule opens up, and hopefully, and I don't have to, maybe where I have a chance to pay, very close attention and kind of get into the movie maybe a little bit more. Then maybe I'll enjoy it more. But again, I know I'm going to kind of going back and forth because I want you to watch this movie. There are other people that I trust out there who liked it, and again, it is a good movie. It just, for some reason, just wasn't for me. At the end of the day, it was well done. The acting was fine. just a little bit of a strangeness in that in the storyline, and I guess the time where she's spent in his head, it does become a little weird. And I don't do well with weird. I don't think it went extreme weird, but it was just weird. Just I guess weird enough where it kind of tuned me out a little bit. Um, so yeah, I keep going back and forth here, but I want you to watch this movie. I definitely think the movie's worth watching, especially if you see it pop up on some people's list of best films for horror films for the year. I definitely then say follow them and watch this movie. Overall, it just wasn't completely for me, but I am gonna give it 3 pools of blood just because I thought it was well done. I liked the action parts in it. I liked the blood and guts in it, and those kind of things. The sci-fi element, I know that's part of the storyline and part of the meat of the story here. Um, but I guess it just got a little too weird for me. And maybe I'm just, I don't know. I don't know what's wrong with me in this movie, but again, maybe one day I'll watch it again. Certainly, there's a couple of scenes there, and her face and the way it looks, and just crazy stuff. And I guess you can kind of expect that here, and expect that going into the movie. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna just go with 3 pools of blood because it is a good movie. I really wish I could have rated it higher and so forth, but I guess there's that one element there that just I don't know, just didn't grab me, didn't get hook me enough into this movie. Um, so with that, um, more information down below, and horrorsquarereviews.blogspot.com is where you can find um, more reviews, written reviews as well. Subscribe to the channel if you're just interested in these video reviews. And Twitter, Facebook, links down below as well. If you want to talk about this movie, if you want to tell me I'm crazy and this movie was awesome and you loved it, please do so. I have no problem with that. I'm not going to argue with you. But if you want to tell me anyway, go ahead. You can tell me on Twitter, tell me on Facebook, comment section below. If you want me to review something that you have, please let me know. If I can do it, I will. Um, yeah, and I guess that's it. This movie will possess me no longer until maybe one day I will give it another shot. And I guess be on to the next review, horror fans.